Hey, everybody. Welcome to the GMI Rocket Show. I'm your host, Roman Zelichenko. I'm a former immigration attorney turned entrepreneur, the founder of Laborless, an immigration tech company that automates immigration compliance in the US, and also the founder of GMI Rocket, which is a marketing agency for the immigration mobility industry, and of course, which brings you this show. I'm very excited today. We are going across the world. We talked to a lot of US-based founders here, and today I'm really excited for episode 93 to talk to our guest, Andrzej Korkus, who is based in Poland, and he is the founder and CEO of a company called EWL Group. So EWL Group is a large mobility platform, staffing agency, labor services company based in Poland that really services companies all across Europe and really expanding across the world. They've built an incredible business, and they are somewhere at the intersection of immigration technology and services, and also job opportunities for companies seeking talent and for individuals seeking job opportunities. It's a really, really cool platform, really cool story that we're going to get into with Andrzej. And again, I'm excited to bring somebody in from outside of North America to expose what is happening around the world from an immigration and mobility tech standpoint. Before we jump into the show, I do, of course, want to thank our main sponsor for the show, which is Lex Reception. So Lex Reception is a legal intake, reception, and client support services for immigration and other lawyers, honestly. So Lex Reception provides 24/7 legal answering specialists, meaning clients that call you always will have their email responded or phone picked up and email responded to. Lex Reception's team can also proactively reach out to potential clients. So somebody reaches out to your firm through a form on your website or something, you don't have to worry about missing that person, and you can have Lex Reception reach out. They integrate with all the tech platforms that immigration lawyers typically use, payment platforms, practice management platforms, etc. And for GMI Rocket Show listeners, $250 off your first month of service with Lex Reception. Just use the link in the show description or let them know you heard about them from the GMI Rocket Show. So without further ado, Andrzej, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited for this conversation. And you're not even in Poland right now. You're around the world. You're in Bogota, Colombia, right?
Bogota, exactly. So, Roman, thanks for having me. It's amazing work what you are doing, and I already congratulated you on the building this amazing community of people helping others to get some kind of better opportunity around the world. So amazing to be here. Thanks.
I appreciate that. And for folks who are listening, please ask questions, leave comments as we're having, this conversation with Andrzej, whether you have questions for him or just comments about what we're talking about. So Andrzej, you're based in Poland, but when we were chatting and sort of getting to know each other, you shared this amazing story about your roots coming from Ukraine, which is where I'm from. My family was there for many, many generations. Can you share a little bit about, that sort of journey that I guess it was your grandfather that took from Poland and, from Ukraine eventually to Poland. I think it's especially in our industry, the immigration stories of our family is just so important.
Yes, that's true. So it was it's really an incredible story. When we do onboarding in our company, we always start with the story. It's we say that the story of our business started 100 years ago, and it was the time when my grandfather was born, and he was born near Lviv in today's Ukraine, and he get fantastic education over there. He was doing some Szemeniecki Gymnasium, which was one of the best in Ukraine. But then Second World War started, and my whole family was deported to Siberia by the KGB Russians. And he had really very tough time there. He had some fingers froze off, had some lung disease. But then when the Germans attacked the Russians, it was in a way they were able to escape this gulags, and it was organized by some by Polish army over there. and they went like some kind of amazing route through Kazakhstan, then to Middle East, Israel, and then they were like supported by the British, and they traveled through I think South Africa to Britain. My grandfather, he finished. Then he joined the like he was like very good at maths, So he joined the some artillery unit of General Maciek Brigade, which was like some kind of like armor brigade. But also at the same time, when he was like trained for this, he was like some kind of artillery targetsman. So he was like calculating how the artillery should shot, but he also managed to do the like this Matura exam, so this after the high school, and he was accepted to Cambridge to study mathematics. So
wow,
like amazing. And then the D-Day happened, so he went with his army, like with General Maciek army on all this track, from D-Day, Normandy through Netherlands to Germany. And he like finished war over there, and he decided to like come back to England to finish his like Cambridge degree, and he finished it like in, I think 1947, and then it's already like Poland. He knew that Poland is under communism. There was like Stalinism, so really like very like tough times. But he felt. I remember I read his diary, and he said that he wanted to live with, in his country where people speak his language. He was like a great patriot, and he decided to come back. Which then, like, it happened like to be in a way like very bad decision for him, because he was in a way like registered as some kind of like potential spy. So he couldn't do any career. He was followed. He died at 89, which was like a few weeks before Poland regained like independence. And till the end of his like life, he was like followed by the guy from some kind of like secret service, like KGB or something, like Polish, like security services. So he never got. He couldn't do career in Poland. He was like refused for like a PhD, and he never got a passport. He couldn't get a passport, so he never returned to Ukraine. And he left us with this amazing diaries when he described Ukraine and all his paths. So I was always like, in a way, like I felt some connection to Ukraine. And then when I was 18, I decided to go there, to see, like the country, and against my parents, like they didn't, like they were like, it was like the time when it wasn't such a popular destination, So
right.
So they had like give me some hard time, but finally we went there with like 3 friends from high school, and I fell in love, like I totally fell in love from the like first moments. I was a volleyball player. I met like the first day we came into Lviv. I met like some Ukrainian volleyball players. We like bonded like this, and then the whole trip was like a blast. We were like traveling from, we're in Odessa, then we were in Crimea. And like people were so open, I didn't know a word in Russian or Ukrainian, but still everywhere, we get along. The people were so helpful. So then, some kind of like my idea was that I would like to do something about this, to make some kind of like cooperation between Poland and Ukraine, between people that were so close, but still we are like, this border is like, I would say dividing us, and there are like at that time there were like very little like interactions between Poles and Ukrainians. I was from Wrocław, so it's like Western Poland. I had like many, I would say, German friends or from Germany. There were like a lot of exchanges, but there were no like this kind of things with Ukraine. So I was like thinking about this at the university. I founded my first business. My first business was like a cool business. We're doing like electronic music parties, like big parties, like club parties. Then we like co-produced some festivals. So it was like really like an amazing experience.
This was in the 90s, like the mid 90s.
No, I'm not that old.
Mid 2000s, I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Yes, mid 2000s.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, something like this. So at that time, Poland joined the EU, and 2 million people left Poland for the EU countries. but at the same time, like thousands of companies invested in Poland, and Polish entrepreneurs gained the access to the European Union markets. And like it was like incredible, but over like few years, the unemployment in Poland fell from, I think it was like 19% to 9%, and the minimum salary increased like tripled. So it created some kind of new problem in Poland, that you lack employees, and we were like a emigration country, like Poland suffered a lot from immigration. You can see like Polish diaspora all around the world. And then, in a few years, we became an immigration country. And it was, and, I would say the team from the government, created some kind of like quite liberal and progressive law that was implemented. And it was like iteration, so first they opened it for agriculture, then for construction, then for some countries, like neighboring countries, so it was like step by step. And at that time, I finished my university, or I was like at the end. I was a bit like tired with this entertainment business, and also I had some experience in Ukraine. I was there on some kind of like student exchange. I was a member of some kind of business club, and I saw this opportunity to really like implement some kind of my vision of getting these two countries together. And we founded one of the first companies that started to recruit and support with all the like legal procedures the candidates from Ukraine. And we were like very successful. We started in the Warsaw School of Economics incubator, and soon we're like dealing with the companies from like Warsaw Stock Exchange, top companies. We did like one of the biggest immigration law like conference with top Polish like law newspaper. So it was like we're like growing like crazy, but some kind of we're like inexperienced like. It was like first B2B business, but still it was. It was me. No.
Oh,
so
hey,
it was
Andrzej.
so then. Yes, you hear me? Because
yes,
I thought that there was yes. So then in 2007 the crisis started, like the huge economic crisis, and it came to Poland in 2008. And we really like suffered from this, because most of our customers primarily were from construction industry, because it was like booming back there in Poland. Yeah. So a lot of them like lost liquidity. A lot of them went bankrupt. So the company nearly, I would say, went bankrupt as well. And for like 2 years, we're I would say recovering from that. But then, then the Polish economy was still outperforming the other EU countries, and so when it was even called some kind of like green island, because we never had, even during the crisis, we didn't have the recession. We always were like growing less, but still growing. And when the like economic cycle turned, so again like the Polish economy like really like moved super fast, and we knew what to do. So we had already some structure, we had some experience with customers. So then we started to really grow. We're like doubling this business like every 2 years. So wow. It was like a super fast growth. And then we also started to like, first we were focused on Eastern Europe, yes, but then we tried to also look for partners and candidates in other countries in Asia, mainly in Asia. And we learned that we talked to really big companies, like very well organized, that were like supplying some other Asian countries like Japan or Malaysia or the Gulf countries, with like really like hundreds of candidates, but we're like surprised that there is like no technology in this, that this process is like very, I would say, old school and very like untransparent, and brings like a lot of risks for the customers, like the B2B customers, but also like for the candidates. Yeah. And then we we like from the beginning we saw like the technology is like an important part for this business, and we built our technology, which we made like I know like thousands of mistakes. We use first we use I know like the path we use sugar CRM. We built our platform that, which was like a mistake. Then we used like some I know poor subcontractors for that. So we made like I think we made all the mistakes, and we are still making them. but in a way, it gave us some kind of like idea that this is the problem that should be solved with technology. And the further we go inside, the more we believe in that.
I love that. And, I think it's actually amazing. I have, a lot of questions that I want to dig into because it it feels like you fell into this kind of by mistake because you had this idea when you went to Ukraine. You saw how close you were geographically and how warm the people were, but how distant you were economically. There was not a lot happening between Ukraine and Poland. And so it's cool that you were like what 18, 19, 18 years old at the time, and you had this idea. You had this even notion that I think something should exist here that does not exist. Maybe you didn't know what yet. I think that's really awesome. Before I jump into that, I'm curious. You started an entertainment business, like a party,
Yes.
music, like a festival, if you will, business type of that thing. I'm just curious, how old were you when you started that, and how did you get into that? Because, I don't know, that seems like really, it seems like something a young person would love to do, but sounds very hard to get it started.
Yes. I think I was like 21 or 22, something like this, like maybe 21. And I'm from Wrocław, which is like southwestern Poland, and I went to study in Warsaw School of Economics in Warsaw, so I knew no one there. And I naturally connected with like guys from Wrocław, and I met like an amazing guy, Radek. We're like still like friends, and he was like a music journalist, and like organizing some festivals. And then I met like Tomek, and David and Pedro, and then my brother joined us. So really like so this is how it came. They were like very, especially Tomek was like super entrepreneurial guy. So we like, I would say he like invited me to this business, and I started like, I would say, my first entrepreneurial experience.
Wow. And I guess you felt confident enough to start with this because they were doing it. You saw how it worked. I'm assuming you loved music and you enjoyed going to festivals.
Yes. So they did it in Wrocław, and they were like super successful. And then, we wanted to, in a way, like recreate this in Warsaw. And then we do it like in a different like cities. I think at the end, like we're doing like 5 or 6 cities, and doing like very similar big club events.
And so, I can imagine that's late hours and very tiring. Fun.
Yes.
It sounds very tiring.
It's fun when you like at the beginning. It was like amazing, best job you can do, at college. But then if you are finishing college, you're like you're a bit. It was like this was like one thing. Another thing, it's that already like these big music events, like the guys that were like 5 years older than us or 10 years older than us, they were doing like very like big scale festivals and music events, and they got all the like best sponsors. So it was like in a way hard to create some kind of like some unique, I would say, advantage.
Interesting. It's cool because, and the reason I love asking about these questions, asking these questions about early businesses is not because that business maybe you obviously are in a different industry, but there are things to learn from that. Whether you're learning about, competitive landscape, you're learning about how to get clients, how to get sponsors, how to get partners, how to get customers, telling people come to my festival and not the other one because of this. And so I love that. I'm curious, when you grew up, did you grow up in a family where there were business owners and where doing something on your own was, celebrated, or was it? Yeah.
So in a way, like it was like this is also like I think in a way it like inspired me because like my dad, he was like also like a mathematician, very like and he when the like then when this whole tech boom started, so he was like the first to be approached. Like mathematicians were becoming like developers, so he was like already early in this, and he was working in one of this like some kind of I don't know tech companies, but from the 90s. But I mean like the computers were the size of the rooms, so it was like
Right.
even 80s,
Yeah.
and I remember that I was like coming to his office and playing games, on this computer. And it was like I know, like there were like maybe like 10 computers in Wrocław at that time, And then he started his own company, like implementing some kind of software for the ATMs, Also ATMs were a new thing. And then he was in a way like he had like a very good offer from for the bank, to come to the bank to do it. Like so he finished his business, yes, and he came to the bank, and like years later, it appeared that this bank was like not the best. I mean, it was like very old school. It was a public bank. I mean, owned by the state, so not very innovative. And at the end, it like didn't like work for him. So I remember him when he was like doing the business, and he was like thriving. And then I remember him when he was like in this corporate world. So when he wasn't that happy, So in a way, I always wanted to have some like freedom and independence, and this was like for me like super interesting. And so this was probably also like some kind of reason for that.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think it takes a certain level of confidence to start your own business, to run your own business, to know that it's going to succeed, and to know that you can get clients, that you can keep clients. I mean, you know all of this. When you get a job, the work comes to you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
The clients come to you, the responsibilities come to you. So on the one hand, it's easier, but on the other hand, like you said, the freedom is not there. The ability to try things.
I think I was like extremely lucky, because I was like in Poland, which was like booming. Poland economy tripled over last 30 years. And the other thing, I was in some kind of new industry that was like supporting this, So, I mean, we set up some kind of, when I started this business, I set up like online campaign myself, and this online campaign, like after like 2 months, I was like number one in organic, like this search engine results, and I totally didn't know how to do it. I just did like myself, but still it was such a niche that it really like exploded,
So okay, you eventually you got this business going where you started to bring talent across the border from Ukraine, I guess, into Poland, and it sort of blossomed into what sounds like a staffing service, right? You found or maybe a job network where you found individuals who were talented, had different skills, and you said you found large companies, including publicly traded companies. How did you get those early clients? Is it because you were one of the only people doing this, or like how did you approach clients like that?
So first we started with like recruitment service, So we were like recruiting people, Then we naturally add all this like legalization process and the immigration service, yes. So and like really like there was like the like at that time Polish economy was like growing like 7% a year, So it was like crazy. I mean, so we really had. Like we like I mean like customers were finding us, and I mean we did this marketing campaigns like very. Then of course we like like developed them, but first we're for many years we're like number one on the this organic when you were looking for workers from abroad or workers from Eastern Europe, we're like number one on this like organic Google search, So So in a way, like customers were finding us, but this was also a trap. And I realized this at some point, but because we're getting like the customers who are like searching, for some solutions. And already they're like in Poland, already there was like some well-developed this like staffing business, and these staffing companies, they were already like top customers, so they were already there, and because we're like, we're like comfortable with having our customers coming to us. So I didn't develop some kind of like this like some kind of proactive sales approach, like my salesmen, they were like they were used to like getting the the leads, so they were not like eager to go outside to get leads, and in a way we lost some kind of like stage of like development of this market because we didn't go out, and then I got like Michał joined me from Adecco, and he built up like a real sales team, and we right now we have top sales team in our part of Europe, so it's amazing. So we got like the relations with all the top customers.
It's actually really interesting because you got onto Google basically early. You got onto Google in terms of having an online presence before, when it was still very easy, or I guess accessible, to get into the top of Google search. Because now you can imagine,
Yes,
or maybe
yes.
it's very, very expensive and almost
Or
impossible.
maybe if you are in the right niche, so there is a niche on your market that it's still like not that over, I would say, paid, still you can do it, but it's the matter of I mean, at that time you still like Google was like charging, like some like $100 for some search. I know if you want to take a mortgage in Poland, it was like super expensive, but still this was some kind of like a niche service,
Yeah, and so so you got that, but then you got comfortable because you said
Yes,
the leads are
exactly.
coming to you. So it's interesting that you actually, because you were so successful in this new way of marketing, online search, you almost skipped the traditional way of marketing
Yes.
and outbound sales, and then you had to find your way back to that. So I actually find that's very interesting because a lot of people first start off with traditional sales and then they say, "Oh, let me try the internet."
Yes.
That's really cool. So okay, so at this point, it sounds like you're a startup, but you're successful. There's some bigger companies that are also recruiting agencies, but you are getting your leads. You're now being proactive. You said that there was a point where you realized that technology needs to enter the formula because it sounds like it was old school and maybe especially whether the clients were uncomfortable or it felt slow or the candidates had to fill things out. How did you sort of transition from maybe a traditional staffing or employment agency where you supported finding candidates and the legal side and the immigration side to building a tech platform, it transforms your business. So how did you manage, or how did you start that transition into being more of a tech platform?
So, we are still on the way, like it's like
Right. We all are.
We managed to transform like many of the processes, and for us, like from our point of view, crucial processes. But we still like have this product strategy for like many years, So, but I think at what was like what worked for us, we started with like I was looking at this business like this. So I had like I have like few hundred B2B customers, which are usually I'm competing with all these like big companies like Adecco, Manpower, like Randstad and Work Service at that time in Poland, and they are like in a way they want a solution to their problem. They don't. I mean, they don't care if I do it like technology or I know like whatever. They didn't care. So, and I saw that on the other hand, I have like thousands of candidates, so there is like big volumes, and we started there, so we saw that with the scale, it's like more some kind of opportunity to implement technology and to really like make it work, and works. And our model looks like this, that we do, for example, in many, like right now we do recruitment ourselves, but for maybe like in 20%, but 80% are still like our partners around the world. We have like, this is some kind of like core of our platform. So it's like some kind of internal marketplace where recruiters and freelancers are connected. And I think right now we have around like 700 connected like recruiters or agencies, and they supply candidates for the demand we create in mainly like in Poland and other EU countries. So this is some kind of like heart of our operations. And then we automated the legalization process for some of the countries and for some of the like most popular permits and the immigration process. And then we added some kind of like some management system that is helping the candidates to onboard in a new country, and then it's helping them to be successful at the customers place, like the plant or the warehouse or the office, wherever they go.
So it was like a full, I mean, to your point, you're solving multiple problems. You come into the client and you tell them, I'm going to be a solution for you, for your problem.
Yes.
So it's recruiting, but it's also the legal and immigration side if it's an international recruit. And
Yes.
then when they hire the person, your platform helps manage that employee, that recruited employee, right?
So we actually started with like simple, so recruitment, and we're like giving, but then we learned that so new. I mean, like especially in Poland, Poland was like a very homogeneous country. There were like nearly no foreigners. People were like emigrating from Poland and immigrating to Poland. So it was like the employers were learning how to manage the foreigners, how to help them, how to how to run payroll, all these tax issues, all the insurance issues. And we understood that we can learn this for them. We learn it like once, and then we can scale it with the technology or with our processes. And we learned that all like the big customers, they want some kind of all-inclusive solution. So they just want to have their problem solved. They don't want to like learn to solve it. They want the problem to be solved. This is like one of their many problems. So the most advanced services we sell are for the biggest companies. So the bigger company is, the more advanced solution they require.
Interesting. Do you find that you build technology sort of as you grow with large clients, you learn more about what they need, and so that informs how you continue your product roadmap?
I mean, some kind of like some kind of secret sauce is in this B2C, so we work more with the B2C customers, and we learn their some kind of needs and expectations. And then because the expectations from the B2B customers are very similar. I mean, they just want to job done. It's like they want to have like no headaches. And the something where we add value, is we operate in countries where there is no unemployment. In Poland you have 2.8 unemployment. In Czech Republic it's 2.5. In Germany it's 3.2. So there's no unemployment. So, and we help them to solve their employment problems with our solution. And for us to make if we make our candidates successful, the B2B customers are happy.
It's amazing to think that there's those levels of unemployment. And so the idea is, if a company is growing,
States, what's the unemployment in States? It's also like 3 point something.
I actually don't know off the top of my head.
I think it's like around less than 4.
It's pretty low, but we've had higher unemployment over the last, somewhat years. It's doing pretty good right now. Also, of course, the way they measure unemployment is skewed a little bit. So I think there are more people that are not necessarily traditionally employed. But if you're not looking for a job, you're not considered to be unemployed. So you could be not working but not looking.
Mhm.
Is my understanding. Um, yeah, that's really interesting. And of course, in a market, and I want to get to, and I want to learn a little bit about what you've done with some of the, individuals, refugees, war refugees that have come from Ukraine. I want to take a very quick pause just to say thank you to our sponsor, one of our sponsors, Docketwise, which it's a U.S. based immigration case management company. They have best in class immigration forms, customizable questionnaires for immigration lawyers to use, integrations with all sorts of other tech products, including my startup Laborless. And Docketwise has a really amazing blog and other good content, podcasts, et cetera, for U.S. immigration lawyers. So for all of the U.S. immigration folks listening and watching this, please check out Docketwise, link in the notes, or check out docketwise.com and tell them you heard about them from us. So, I love the support from other immigration tech companies for this show and for this community. Um, as somebody who has family still in Ukraine, obviously that the war is still going on, whether it's very popular in American news or not, it's still happening. It's active. I know you've written, there have been some articles written about you, and you've talked very publicly about the support that EWL has given to Ukrainians outside of, I think, your regular business, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think it's something that you're passionate about and the company's passionate about. And, in the immigration community, refugees from war oftentimes become part of the labor market in another country, in the worst circumstances, but they end up somewhere else. And there needs to be support, but then you also have these talented individuals. So I don't know, what have you guys done with to support I guess all the Ukrainians that came into Poland after the war started?
So like it was like a very tough time for us. It was like we're after COVID, which was like unbelievable because we do like a cross-border recruitment business, and the borders were closed, so it's like a very tough time for us. Finally, we managed to adapt, and when we were, like we managed to adapt to the COVID, then the war started, and it was like super tough for us, like emotionally, because I mean, in our like core team, we have like I think more than 30% of our staff are like people from like Ukrainians. They work in Poland, Ukraine, in Germany. So like everyone was like affected, So and we are in this migration business, so we're like in the first kind of like we're like at the front of that, when this, for example, we have like transportation companies that were working for us to transport candidates from Ukraine to Poland, So when this all like madness started, I think it was like to Poland within like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like 3 million people came, from Ukraine. It was like, I mean, unbelievable, and so like we're like I mean, our business, like we're on we're like the front line of this refugee crisis, So first we were trying to rescue like take from Ukraine our like employees, Some of them didn't want it, some of them couldn't, because of the martial law. So we're like evacuating them. Then we managed to organize this. There was like no public transport, nothing. It's all stopped. So we managed to organize this. So then we started to like organize it for other people. Then we started to organize this like for everyone. And like within 2 weeks we evacuated like more than 2,000 people, from Ukraine. And then this private transport came back, so it started to be like more organized. So we stopped this, but there were like other problems. So we have like our onboarding center is at Dworzec Zachodni, so it's like a western station in Warsaw, which is some kind of like a hub for the trains coming from the east and the like buses and trains going to the west. So it's like so all the trains that were stopping in Warsaw with refugees and the buses with refugees, they were like stopping there, and we had this big onboarding center. It's like 1,000 meters and even more, and we opened it up for women with kids, and it was like operating from 9 till 5, but we realized that we cannot like leave these people there, so we opened it up on like 24th, and it's operating till today, so it's never stopped. And first we're doing this ourselves, so our like Mariana, so our girls, like managers that like Ukrainian managers, they like organized this, and what people were there. They were working and then going there, and so it was like super tough. Then we managed to get like volunteers that supported us with this. Like people from our company also did it, so it was like 24/7, and people were really like coming there like very in bad shape. So we managed to get some psychological help, some medical help. It was also the time of like the peak COVID epidemic. It was like middle of the winter, so we all got ill, like all got COVID. So it was like super tough time. And this refugee center is still operating. Right now we are supported with UNICEF. They organize some place for kids. So it's really, really like good. We have support from the voivodeship of like Mazovia, so the state of Warsaw. Yes, they also support us there. We have like volunteers that already work there like full time. So it's but still, we welcomed there, and in a way like gave some kind of like short while of some kind of like we gave them like food or the psychological support or something to drink. Then we organized beds there, so some kind of like rest for them after they came out of Ukraine. Like I think right now probably it's more, but at some point I think when we measured it last time, we welcomed there like 80,000 people, 80,000 like women with kids, so it was like huge, some kind of like huge effort of like our team, especially like the like Ukrainians working in our company, because they were like driving this like really like very tough time.
Do you think that the war and this sort of relocation of people, do you think it's impacted the labor sort of dynamics in Eastern and Central, I guess across Europe?
Yeah, it's turned it upside down, like before war, like most of our candidates were men from Ukraine. Yes, like the biggest some kind of share of our candidates. Right now there are like nearly no, because they're under martial law, they cannot leave, or they're fighting for their country. Also a lot of our employees, they came back to Ukraine to fight for Ukraine. So it totally changed the market. On the other hand, you had like a lot of like refugees, like women refugees with kids, which was like also some kind of new, like usually like first the like women were coming, they were like settling down, and then they were like bringing kids in. And this like I think there were like at some point there were like 500,000 kids in Polish, I would say, society, and I think 150,000 got to Polish schooling, another 100,000, more than 100,000 are in Ukrainian, and I think some of them are like right now there are less. Many of them came back. So but still, it's I think 100,000 kids are not in school right now, or they are on some online school from Ukraine, which like no one knows what's like. I mean, we don't know how's the quality of that. So
Right.
it's under all this like blackouts and the
Yeah.
alarms. So it's like super tough. So definitely, it turned it upside down. So.
What are you guys thinking of, as a business? Obviously, your core was, and I guess still is, talent from maybe not just from Ukraine, but from just generally Eastern Central Europe, moving from one country to support a company in another country, perhaps. Right now you're in Latin America. I mean, you guys, I know, have expanded beyond just Poland, Ukraine, Czech Republic. You're in a lot of parts of the world. What are you thinking about as a business moving forward? What, even with the war or without the war, but in general, how does a business like yours, cross-border employment and immigration, and building a technology platform, by the way, to support this? Every country has its own rules. Every country has its own processes for immigration. How do you think about growth in a time like right now?
So I think this is like there are like nearly 200 million immigrants like around the world. So and there are no, I mean, there is some kind of like no scalable solution for them, and also like there is some kind of misunderstanding that if you don't have the like scalable, transparent migration law, it will stop migration. It won't, it will increase only the illegal immigration, which you are like United States are some kind of, I would say, harsh example. Yes. So, so I believe there is, like the migration is something that, we're like migrating after some herds of mammoths, like 40,000 years ago. So it's like, it's embedded in our some kind of nature, So we really believe that this is some kind of like amazing problem to solve, and I really love your community. I think it's really, I mean, you built like incredible community, and it will be solved by companies like ours, So like you say, it's like very fragmented market, very very like you need to know this like local specifics, and I think that more and more countries, and I see this in EU, that more and more countries are like they are seeing that regulating migration, it's not like increasing the number of like, I mean, it's not something scary, it decreased the illegal migration, increased the legal migration, but still like the demand from the market, like I would say, accelerates the migration, not whether you regulate it or not, because if you don't regulate it anyway, it will happen, because some local entrepreneurs will hire like people like illegally, or you will have some illegal like I know it's like with prohibition, you prohibit alcohol, which everyone was using, so it created the biggest like mafia in the United States, So today you limit the legal immigration, and it creates like the biggest illegal migration in the world, So, and I believe that I hope that even despite the populism around migration, it will like evolve, and there are more and more like examples like Poland. In Poland, we have like more than 96% of people in Poland are legally in Poland, and something more than 80 are legally employed, So, and it's like totally changed the different, like some kind of face of the migration, because then if they enter a country legally, they are from the beginning like in the like social security system, like medical system, and if they enter illegally, so they are from the beginning there is some kind of like underground, So maybe they are asked for favor to smuggle drugs, or I know do something like they still like have some kind of So it's like a tough. I mean, it's really hard to get it right. We see like UK, very open, very liberal, and that what happened to them is Brexit. So it's really like a very tough. We don't have the solution. We are still like searching for this, but we think that this is like one of the biggest problems of modern world, and it's like amazing to be like part of the of the group that is solving it. So
Yeah. And how do you think technology plays a role, from your perspective, from what you guys are working on or just thinking about?
I think it's technology always like increase transparency, increase efficiency. To do technology, you need to more data. If you do more data, you reduce risk. So I mean, it's the future of this.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's interesting because, in America, we have probably the largest market from an immigration standpoint, how many people come to the US, the work visas, the family visas. There's a lot of technology focused on US inbound immigration. And, and I've been lucky enough to talk to many other of these people. There are a number of individuals like yourself building technology around the world, whether it's close by in Canada and Mexico, or close by to us, or Sweden, or Poland, or Germany, or you know um, across Asia. I mean, but it's hard to, like you said, the local aspect of immigration and labor laws makes it difficult, I think, to build a platform that's perfect for every country, or let's even say the top 25 global
Mhm.
destinations for labor. Let's even make it simpler.
So
Um,
so we in a way and it's also some kind of like we discovered this. We don't work with the countries. We work with the flows. Every migration flow has its own some kind of the Mexicans to US. Have their own like regulations. Then Ukrainians to Poland, or I know Belarusians to Poland, or Ukrainians to
mm,
Germany. So we work on the flows and we try to understand the flow, and then we try to implement technology. Sometimes we don't do it because the flow is like too small, or you don't see it's too complicated, or it's too you need to do like too many. I mean, some kind of like some. So first is the process. If you do the right process and you see that you can implement technology, then you do it. But
yeah,
sometimes we don't do it. Sometimes there are some processes that technology is not helping you.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And that's still the case. And maybe with artificial intelligence, it'll get easier to implement technology and more
For sure.
complicated
For sure.
workflows. But I think the most important thing is to make sure it's 100% accurate, because you don't want to mess with immigration processes and laws from a technology standpoint. Um, I have one last question for you, because I know that you are, we have to end the conversation. But you've traveled, you've built this business. You come from this, uh, family where immigration is a part of the history of your family, and I love that. And now you've built this business where you're helping individuals travel from work from across borders. You're expanding. You're traveling on your own. Um, I guess, what do you think is the most recent advice that's impacting you right now? Like, what advice is in your head today as you're building the business where you are today?
But advice for the
For you,
listeners, or
what advice are you listening to right now as you're building where you are? Because I think we can all learn from, every all the advice that we listen to is advice for everybody else.
what's like driving me? Yes, in a way,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
so. I I realize that this is some kind of huge problem. I mean, some kind of huge challenge, and in a way, I mean, it's some kind of like it's like really like driving me. I think it need to be done right, and I see when it's done right how beneficial it is to people. Like I mean, to immigrants and to the countries that are receiving them. So. And I think we need to have like more examples of like some kind of like success stories in the countries. I mean, the success story of the countries, and I I mean, I would like to really bring some kind of like data to this, I mean, to really show data, how does legal, regulated, transparent migration policies help countries and help people,
Yeah, agreed. And we need that in the US. We need that data because I think
Totally.
a lot of
I don't
people.
know. It's really it's so political in the US that it's really like hurting the process, but this is like, I hope, you need to do it, otherwise it will be like, it's already a problem.
So, people, I want people to find you on LinkedIn. The website for EWL Group is in the notes of the show, but people can visit that. Who are the best people to reach out to you? Is it immigration lawyers around the world? Is it companies, in-house HR people? Is it candidates? Is it everybody?
Yeah, it's like, we try to cover all this like customer journey of the migrant, coming to a new country. So we work with immigration lawyers around the world. We work with recruitment companies, like doing the cross-border employment. Very like right now we look for like immigration lawyers in UK and in Canada, and then in States. And we look for recruitment companies in South America, so Argentina, Mexico, Bogota, like Colombia.
Great.
So, like,
Okay, so if you're one of those people and you're listening or watching, please reach out to Andrzej and EWL.
Join us. Let's make
Yes.
migration work together.
I love it.
With this amazing group, I love Roman, the group you built. Really like amazing.
I appreciate it. Andrzej, thank you so much. I want to let you go so you can get on with your business. I really appreciate your time.
Yes.
Good luck with your travels, and thank you.
Thanks for having me, Roman. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I want to give a special thank you again to the main sponsor of the show, Lex Reception. So again, especially for the immigration lawyers and firms, other folks at the firms listening, Lex Reception is an intake, reception, and client support service for law firms. They provide legal answering specialists 24/7. So you don't have to worry about missing calls from clients or prospective clients. They could proactively reach out to prospective clients that contact your firm to make sure that you don't miss that contact. Lex Reception integrates with Clio, Practice Panther, LawPay, and other technology services that immigration lawyers and law firms typically use. So Lex Reception, can easily fit into your tech stack and your workflow. And they're offering $250 off of your first month of service with them for listening to the GMI Rocket Show. So check out Lex Reception. Link is in the show notes, or just reach out to Lex Reception directly and tell them that you heard about them from the GMI Rocket Show. So thank you all for listening, for being here, for supporting the show. I appreciate you wherever you are in the world. So have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and talk to you soon. Cheers.